Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Scott and Mark, which is what we call talking about whatever we feel like talking about in the afternoon. And today we're talking about application resource management. It's a pretty important topic in IT these days, and it's been precipitated by the cloud or exacerbated, maybe, whatever you want to call it. But I'm joined today by Scott Bybee.
I mean, you look historically, and I don't know how long I've been in it. 25. God, I'm trying to think when I started. I was like 20 years old when I started, and I'm now 46. I shouldn't be revealing my age. That's 26 years in IT. And I started off as a Linux administrator, right? And what did you have? You had stuff like Top, right, to be able to view. The problem you have in ARM, or just in trying to observe and monitor and allocate and reallocate resources, is that you end up with, in the olden days, a platform, be it the operating system, later on VMware, and later on you have things like containerization, and each level along the way, whether it's Top, whether it's whatever the tools that come with vSphere and so forth, and going into things like Prometheus on top of Kubernetes and OCP, is that each stage along the way, you have your set of tools that can observe the what's going on at that level, right? And what you end up with is a situation where you cannot see the relationship between one layer and the next. So if you're looking at an operating system, it's got VMware's under the scenes, and you've got, when you're running something and VMware runs out of, resources, what often is the case is the underlying hardware is the problem. So you've got to move out a step, and you've got to be able to see that. So having some of the supply chain view and being able to see the relationship between those layers, I think, is sort of a modern convention that has really helped. And I'll add one more thing to this kind of thinking. One of the challenges I've seen in this space is trying to balance cost with performance, right? So often in the past, it was very focused on performance. You moved into a consumption-based model, and you have things like consumption cloud-first environments, and these things can get away from you. I wanted to show, I know this is stupid, but I think it's really funny. I got a little turbonomics screen, because this is, in the end of the day, what we're talking about is turbonomics. Is we got this little graphic right here. Let me show it to you, Mark. See that? I don't know. I found this yesterday. I don't know Reddit. I play around on Reddit all the time.
Yeah.
So I think this is what sums up the challenge you have in cloud first and cloud native environments is things just run, and then you add more resources, and then you add more resources, and things continue to run, and you never go back on a continuous basis and visit and revisit, the allocations that you've made in the beginning, right? So
yeah, but you can see why, though. I mean, look, you work in IT. We all work. We work together in IT. If you starve a system for resources, and then you get that Friday night call or Saturday afternoon call or Tuesday night call, that the system's not functioning well, you just look like, you basically look like you caused that. So here you are trying to balance performance and resources. You're trying to make the company efficient, not overspend on IT, not over provision. And you turn around and actually cause an application problem by starving the system for resources. And so, I think in IT, the penalty for doing that and the hassles associated with that are so bad that we don't want to do that. We would rather risk over provisioning than under provisioning, because under provisioning makes everybody look so bad and creates this chain of phone calls and blame game and stuff in the IT shop. Production outages or even production slowdowns are kind of the cardinal sin of what we do in IT. So you can kind of see why people are so guarded against that, I think.
Yeah, but then they get beat up on the other side when they do that over provisioning, and you're in a cloud and everything's consumption based, and suddenly you get this bill. And I've done this a lot, because I've seen this when I'm working with a client, and we're looking at their, take Azure. You have Azure Advisor and you have Azure Monitoring. They've got this billing section where you can go and see, you get these alerts, and before you know it, their budget was 20,000, they're at 30,000 because somebody spun up a whole containerized environment and just forgot about it, because they just never spin it back down after they did all their development and